Welcome again, our dear, loved viewer. It's another wonderful session. This is part 2 of the first, which we had done, talking about the non-communicable diseases. And the last question in that part, if you have followed along, you must have reached to a part where we ask, can we guarantee that if you follow faithfully the doctor's instruction, you go for checkups, you take your drugs on time, you do everything you are told, if you can cure, and if the doctor can guarantee that you will be cured or the condition will be reversed, and also that there will be no complications. But the medics, the medical expert here, said they can't guarantee. So in this part, we really want to see, so then, is there a solution? And by the first question, Dr. I want to ask you, maybe introduce yourself once more as you answer that question.
I'm Derek.
A
Yes,
medical
I'm
practitioner.
Yes.
Asante. So my question, Dr. is this. Are these conditions reversible? Is there hope? So if yes, why? If no, why? But I want to believe there's hope, because honestly, if our viewers watch part 1 and then this part 2, then he must be looking for something. Karibu sana daktari. Tell us.
Thank you. Thank you for another opportunity. Um, whether the diseases are reversible or not, that one also boils down to every individual person. The same way, if somebody has a so-called hypertension, there are different levels of the same problem, different lengths of time, especially when it comes to the disease, how they contracted it, how it developed it, how it developed. So with all those dynamics involved, we just say it's a yes for some and a no for some.
Pause. You see, I've been listening. It's yes for some and no for some. Someone tells me, I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first? I think I'll choose the good news. So, yes for who?
Well, it's reversible, especially we can say the acute ones. And then sometimes when we say acute, it also means it's acute and very severe. So if the organs are still functional, if somebody has the organs functional, yes, for example, if it's diabetic, they are pre-diabetic or the initial stages of diabetes. If they still can control their sugars can be controlled, if holding some diets could be working on reducing the sugar spikes. If they have not been over medicated yet, that's why I'm emphasizing on the idea of if the organs, especially if the organs are still functional. Considering if you interact with somebody who has been diabetic for maybe 5 years, they have been on medication, there is a characteristic issue, especially when even it comes to drawing a blood sample. Those people have you can feel that the texture of their blood is so different. And that alone, aside the other factors that sugar can damage nerves, that viscosity of the blood will also reduce perfusion. So it could be worsening every other organ that requires micro circulation. Circulation by blood vessels, the smaller blood vessels. Yeah, so in most cases, if if a patient has been having the disease for a very short time, it's or they just realize they have that issue, they have hope. But if to some extent it's a long-term disease, we just say at some point it's beyond our own ability, unless there's a way to recreate an organ, which I think on a human level we are limited on that.
Oh, okay. That's quite interesting. And I also wanted to hear Daktari on my right side also his views. So my interest is coming, my dear viewer, that these conditions, as far much as we have them, there are some conditions that go to an extent, they damage the very structures that are very necessary to reverse or to help your cell. For example, I've learned in medical materials that the liver can be destroyed up more than even half, and it can be revived again, it can regrow. But some organs, of course, let's talk of like the lungs, they can't. So it makes some sense, but well, no one is a custodian of knowledge. So, Daktari, are these conditions reversible? And why? If it's yes or no, are they reversible? Daktari, karibu.
Okay, thank you for the question. Just to add on what my colleague has said,
So, are you agreeing with him?
yeah, it's a no and a yes.
You don't have a definite answer.
No.
I hope you're not taking a more. So, these are independent views, eh?
Yes.
But you come from different regions, different backgrounds, medical backgrounds. Okay, so you also kind of agree.
Yeah, exactly. And it should depend with the patient
Okay.
and also who attends to that patient.
Go ahead.
So we have the provider factors that you also determine whether this patient will have the condition with us. It will depend on the approach the healthcare provider takes. Because if a patient interacts with a healthcare provider who does not understand the cause of the disease, or the cause is based on if the cause is based on guidelines or books, and it goes against the real nature of this patient, most likely they will never arrive at the cause and they'll never know the solution. So a very good example is, for example, if a doctor believes that the only problem a diabetic patient has is elevated blood sugar, then that is where he gets the entire process of the disease wrong. Because there are so many problems that are happening in the patient, in the body of a patient who has diabetes. We have so many imbalances in the body, and that is the reason why, even after they have taken the medications faithfully, they will still have complications. So that confirms that the problem was not only in the elevation of the blood sugar. But you see, the patient does not know. It depends upon the doctor for education, but the doctor has missed the point. So in that case, this condition will never be reversed. So this patient will go to complications and eventually they are going to die. Okay? The other provider factor is what they use for treating that disease, because all medications have side effects. And side effects is a simpler or a calm term to mean you are producing a disease in another organ. Okay. So a doctor who treats diabetes without looking at the entire body will end up creating other complications in other parts of the body. So that is how the patient is going to end up with a worse problem, a problem greater than what they presented with.
So pause a little,
at the doctor's office. Yes,
I'm sorry to disrupt you.
it's okay.
Let me use this example of disease, cancer. We well know that there is chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and all that. If I'm getting you right, because you're saying it depends with the healthcare provider approach, are you trying to say that someone could be suffering from cancer if it's diagnosed on time? Just the approach alone determines whether he or she survives, the cancer is reversed or not. Maybe if it goes to chemo, there could be some side effects, some serious, I don't know how you call them, adverse effects. Is that the whole point you're trying to bring about? Are you trying to say that there's an approach that can be taken, even if it's from a medical provider, that renders this case less helpful? Because we've talked about side effect. Is that the point you're trying to bring? Because I want my viewer to be very well informed in that case. Because I think sometimes we make wrong decisions.
Yeah,
That is-
exactly. Those are the two main areas the health provider should be conversant with. They should know that whatever the patient has presented with, it's an effect of something they have done in the past. That is why every disease has a history. So he should have taken that history, and the most important thing is to have understood what has caused this condition. So if he misses the point on what caused it, then automatically he is going to miss the diagnosis. Or he may get the diagnosis right, but he's going to miss or to make a mistake in the approach. So that is why most patients find themselves with other diseases because the treatment did not address the entire condition of the patient.
Thank you.
Okay, that is where the problem lies. But we also have patient factors. Maybe most patients do not know that the final decision concerning whether or not they are going to clear that disease depends upon them. There's nothing to do with the doctor because these days, treatment is a business. Okay, and if the doctor can keep you coming, that's the only way they can be guaranteed that they are going to get profits.
Sure.
But any patient who is treated completely recovers and then goes home would mean that is loss of business. So I think there's a tendency of every doctor to tell the patient that you cannot recover from this condition, and they have to book you for future appointments. And this has been always running. So, you know, there are so many things that are happening because one, you're preparing the patient in the mind that this disease is not going soon. So they accept that personality that this disease is part of me. Okay, so you are killing the mind eventually. The patient accepts the disease as part of their personality. So eventually, you keep the disease for life. So if the patient does not redeem himself from that notion that they can shake off the disease and remain free, that means the disease will remain forever.
Oh, I get
Okay.
you.
The other thing the patient should understand that every disease comes as a result of certain laws of health that they are breaking, including good diet. And the doctor will not help you to feel properly because they may also be facing the same problem. Yeah, because a doctor who eats badly, you do not expect them to guide their patient. If the patient cannot exercise, the doctor will never exercise for you. So if the patient is not taking water, you see, the pill cannot be water. Okay. So even if you were to take those medications faithfully, they will never replace good lifestyle habits. And that is why if the patient does not know that, then the disease remains forever. So those are the patient factors that answers the questions are asked. If anyone wishes the condition to be reversed, then if you do not follow those health principles, it will not be reversed. But for those who follow the principles, we can assure them that those conditions will be reversed. And we have so many evidence of patients who have cured diabetes, cancer, hypertension, asthma, okay, arthritis. They had the conditions at one time. Today they are free simply because they follow those health laws. And it had nothing to do with the doctor. It had everything to do with.
Thank you so much, Dr. That's a very elaborative answer. And my dear viewer, it is interesting. If you preach water, you should drink water, not just wine. So I think that's also a missing part, especially on the physician's way. But also the patient, you have earned it very well. The doctor will not do exercise for you. The doctor will not cook for you. The doctor will not come and tell you you must sleep at this time. He may advise you sleep early, but it's just an advice. So you decide. Now, it is interesting that these doctors, I've spoken to them variously some other times back, and I know Dr. here, Fred, sometimes back, he had a very, very serious systemic inflammations. He had a rheumatoid arthritis, very severe. And I thank God he is recovered. I personally, I had a very severe asthmatic condition. Dr. also had one. I remember also speaking to Dr. Derek, and he told me sometimes back, he had very serious gastrointestinal issues, the GI issues. We are talking of ulcers, we are talking of H. pylori, all those conditions. And I also know, and I've seen patients suffering with this condition, leaving them for life, having stomach issues. And they stay for 3, 5 years, 10 years suffering from the same. So, Daktari, there's a question I want to ask. I want to ask how, okay, maybe I even got you wrong. Is there a condition that you ever had, a non-communicable disease that you overcame? You tell us briefly how, and you tell us the challenges in reversing now generally these non-communicable diseases. Just before I give you a chance, my grandmother, wherever she is, if she gets a chance to watch this, she was suffering from hypertension, very serious one. I thank God she is not under any anti-hypertensive medications now. She is fully recovered. She had a lot of serious condition with arthritis. She is now very okay. She is recovered. My mother and my grandmother, they were suffering from certain ulcers between their fingers. They couldn't wash their clothes or do any cleaning without using the banana ribbons. They are recovered. I'm just using those who are so close to me. But every doctor has a case and number of cases they have overcome. So I'm trying to say that, and to confirm the answer, that it is reversible if the right approach is taken from both the physician and the patient. So let's hear from the house mom. Is there any condition that you had? How did you go about it? And what are the challenges when you try to reverse these non-communicable diseases? Karibu sana daktari.
Thank you. Yes, you are right. I think it was back in late primary school. I had ulcers.
Ulcers?
Yes. Back then, there used to be this, how do you call it? There were, I don't know, you can call them, they used to be called this for you. They were in sachets and they were going for 5 shillings.
At our place, we were calling it Giscola.
Yes,
I don't know if you are using
that one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we used to, it was in favor that we should dilute it
with 2 liters.
2 liters of water, right? Yes. So I remember that time my mom used to those things. And now, being that son, I used to get those things. For me, I used to lick them.
Lick?
Yes.
Literally lick?
Yes, maybe 2 every day. No.
Not dilute, you lick.
No,
you dilute with your saliva.
Yes, I used to saliva.
Okay.
Yeah, those things. I took those. I ate a lot of things. And back then they used to come in jugs, so she could not notice.
They are filled, so even if you sneak too,
yes,
it will be almost like.
And then back then they were selling a lot. I think that could have been nowadays maybe lollipops use like a lot. Those things used to sell. Nowadays I know people don't even do those things. Yeah, so that's the time. Around after around 1 year, that's when I had that issue.
So you are saying you were in primary school, eh?
Yes. Yes.
That's when the condition developed.
Yes.
And that's when
I'm so sure it was this.
So we are trying to trace back to the roots,
yes,
the history.
Yes.
I love that. Continue.
So I think since then I had I complicated the answers complicated. I used to, you see now, at first, I think back then, medical fraternity was a bit squeezed. I think my mom did not have much resources to take me to. The hospital was a bit far. So we used to go and we used to get me some paracetamol. Yes. So
Basically painkillers.
yes, our idea was just feel that pain. You know, the boy is in pain. Just take away the pain. Yes. So we did paracetamol for a while. So while I'm joining high school, I think, and then by then we used to have a clinic. I said clinic, okay, a small drugstores. I think that's the time I was.
Zile tu nyumba fulani tunakuwa kakiu fulani when you are sick before they take you to these big hospitals.
Yes, now there's somebody who
you are referred somewhere.
Sometimes it's not even you can even have a teacher on duty. It's responsible. Yes, you are
has been given some instructions.
Yes,
that akikuja anauma na kichwa, you can give this.
Maybe your Swahili teacher is on duty.
I remember those days.
Yes, so that's the time I was put on PPIs, the omeprazole, you know, just dilute the acid and all that.
For our layman, for our layman, PPIs inamaanisha nini?
Proton pump.
Proton
let's say
pump
I'm sure somebody somewhere has used omeprazole
or omeprazole,
those things.
Okay.
Yeah. So I use those ones. They used to relieve the discomfort, but then now back then I didn't understand those things were. They used to work actually. At that moment they didn't work. But then by the end of the day, tomorrow you still back to the same square one. I remember maybe after 2 years I went for a checkup. Then a diagnosis of ulcers was made. I was put on they used to call it XP. I don't know if they still do the same. It used to have 2 antibiotics and a PPI combined. 3. It used to have 3 tablets. I did that thing for like, you used to do like a sequence every 3 months. You go and replace the meds. You do it every 3 months. So I did that for 1 year. I remember back then I used to have a very characteristic smell. My beddings, my clothes, even if I do thorough washing, I will still smell like those H kits
from the drugs.
Yes. Yeah. So I did that my whole high school. I went to campus. I think that's where I met there's a naturopathist I met while on service in suburb. I think he had a name, somebody Amenya.
Yes, I know the guy.
You know
he's a Fred, yes. He's a Fred.
So that guy, he only told me to go and do a cabbage juice. Back then in campus, you know, if somebody told you a lot of things you did not manage. I didn't have I didn't have the resources to manage anything.
I understand. You see, some of the comrades are looking at us here.
So for once, somebody told me something cheap to work with. Cabbage juice. I could do that. I was suffering already. So I did actually cabbage juice for just 1 week. He told me don't do any supper. Be doing basically cabbage juice. Leave sugar alone. If you do any, by then I was not using beverages. He told me not. And sugar, leave sugar alone. So I was fixed. No suppers. Do cabbage juice because that's something I told him. This one I can get. This is what I'm worth. This
as simple as
cabbage
juice.
Juice. I did it for.
Did he mention waru, Irish potato?
He mentioned a lot of things, but you see, back then, in Jepot, waru was cheap, but I was poor enough not to manage waru. But I could manage cabbage because we used to have cabbages going for even 10, 20. So that's the only thing I did. And actually, since then, till today, I never understood. Actually, I never understood. I was still in my medical schooling, and I mean, it was the simplest thing I ever the cheapest, the simplest, and that's why now you asked me the challenges we have in passing. One of the major challenge could be what I actually experienced. The inability to accept that aside using all the money we've used, you can also use something are very, let me call it stupid.
Humble.
Allow me
Yeah.
to call it stupid and
Yes.
humble.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that idea alone, if somebody is ready to accept such a possibility, you see now medical field is so sophisticated a lot that basic things sound weird and unpractical. Yeah, somebody has gone through, some people have done very serious imaging, very expensive imaging. They have done a lot. And they are told maybe there's no problem with their abdomen, there's nothing wrong with them. But they still can feel the pain, they can feel the discomfort. So the challenge is that's one, inability to accept such possibilities. The other challenge we have is people are not ready for the discomfort that comes with other things, like Doc said. There are things that are very uncomfortable, like exercise. Of course, people want comfort. I mean, naturally, we all want some of comfort. And
Human nature.
Yes, and our working, most of us, we lead a sedentary lifestyle. People work in offices. People just want to stay indoor. Yes. So the ability to moving around, allowing the body to be well circulated with blood, so poor. That's another challenge. Very few people actually, if the concern of whether people have the resources to manage some foods is actually a rare issue. I would just say, as much as yes, we can say there are poor people who are very few, and I hope that for those ones we can also give that possibility that some people actually don't have resources to have some basic things, but that's a rare challenge. But ideally, if you can manage to feed yourself on basic things, all those basic things can be observed in the direction that you eat the healthiest you can.
Thank you so much, Daktari. That's very illustrative. It reminds me a lot of things about my past, also me growing up, and it touches to the viewer. I know some of the people who are listening here, they have also linked to that to be scholar. Yeah, those days. And it's interesting that you are able, while you are comrade at JQuat, you are able to manage to heal something you have dealt with more than 6 years. Because I'm very sure in high school you took 4 years suffering from the same issue, some years in primary, and even some years in campus. But just something as simple as cabbage juice, to treat ulcers. Well, you have spent thousands in treating the same, and it's not being reversed. Daktari, I want to ask you a question. Now, Daktari here, Derek has told us things to do with accepting that even if you have encountered so many costs, something simple can heal you. Number two, being ready for some discomfort, because I know one of us who is listening us, he takes breakfast almost every single day. Starch, let's say cereal, let's say bread, wheat, and tea, maybe. Tea mixed with coffee, tea mixed with milk and sugar. So I come here, or Daktari comes here and tells you, no, you know what? If you want to reverse diabetes, if you want to reverse hypertension, you have to put away sugar. You have to put away this wheat to overcome this asthma. So some people are not really ready for that discomfort. So, Daktari, I want us to end this discussion by simply asking you, maybe if you have a point to end on the point of challenges that people face. And finally, even if you have something that you can share at a personal level, a personal experience, as you are trying to tell us, how do we overcome these challenges? Someone is new here. This is the new information. Amesikia eti ulcer inatibiwa na cabbage. It's new thing. Let me give this. There's this patient. I'll give an example. Should I give an example with my mom? No. Maybe my mom will say nimemwonea. So there's this patient calls me. She has been having constipation, a serious one. She has stayed more than a week without going to hospital. Let me use this another case that I was somewhat severe. 2 weeks without going to toilet, I mean. 2 weeks. And she is eating. And so a friend calls me. What can we do? I tell him, I will need to prepare some herbal supplement and bring. She takes it and says, no, it's bitter. And I'm like, so, but this is the solution. You have tried other medical solutions, they are not working. So the friends encourages her, she takes the first day. The second day, she feels the urge to go to the toilet, and then she begins, and there's bowel movement and all that. And later on, she confesses, I really wish I knew that these things you talk about in diet, it's that important. So this is the thing, I tried this medication now as a fresh one. There's an app. Let me give one of the ingredients. There's an app called Senna. It's just one of the ingredients we use for laxatives. I told a certain patient, use these few leaves, boil and take. And she said, no, it stinks. I can't dare that. No, I can't dare that. The Kikuyus call it moino. No, I can't use that. So acceptance that something humble can be of beneficial to your health is something that it's really a challenge. So thank you for pointing that. Sorry for speaking much. I want Dr. Fred here to tell us, is there any other challenge that he can handle that? And how do we overcome the challenge? And also share our personal experience, Daktari, if you have any that you would like to highlight in a few minutes as we want to conclude and tell our viewers it's possible. There is hope. Thank you so much. Karibu sana.
Yeah, thank you. So in the interest of time, let's summarize by saying that the only challenge, or one of the most important challenge patients need to overcome is their own attitude.
Attitude.
As my colleagues have discussed here, somebody said that we do not have incurable diseases, but we have incurable people. Okay? So this would mean that people need to change their personality, change their attitude towards, because some people have believed that their identity has changed to what people know them, to the diseases they currently have. Okay, and you tend to find that the same diseases have now changed their behavior, so that they tend to behave like the diseases themselves. So I think all patients should know that all diseases can be reversed as long as there is no organ damage. And most of the patients who come to doctors, at least they do not have organ damage. But you see, if there is a change of function of the organ, depending on the approach that is going to be taken, then they are likely to, they might have organ damage. So that is one of the challenges patients have. The other one is that, just as my colleagues have said, there is sacrifice in any, if you want to have, if you want to a benefit. So if you want to overcome a disease, then you should know that there are certain laws that you transgressed, and now to reverse that condition, you have to start obeying those laws. And you see, laws come with restrictions.
Sure.
So you can't eat the way you've been eating. If you have been sitting all the time, you need to exercise, because the secret of good health, life, is movement. And that movement demands that you devote time to it. You also have to accept exertion. So those are the sacrifices you need to make. You also need to have timing for your meals, timing for taking water, because you can't be doing things disorderly, because that lack of organization is meaning if you eat at any time, you drink at any time, of course you can have disease at any time. So that should be noted. So they should be willing to know that to overcome those conditions, they have to obey certain laws, and those laws come with restrictions.
Sure.
And the other thing they need to know is that the ultimate solution is not in drugs.
Sure.
And the reason is, any drug you take, you generate another disease somewhere. Okay. So if they knew that, then they would be looking for the real causes of diseases. So that if they have not been supplementing their diet, they have not been taking water, they have not been having the right state of mind, they have been having a lot of stress, they have been having inadequate sleep. So those are the real causes of the diseases they're suffering from. And those are the challenges they need to overcome.
Thank you. Allow me just cut you, interject. You have talked about laws.
Yeah.
Are there some laws, and you may just briefly tell us, make this awareness, that there are laws of health? Because there is a law, it could be written or maybe not written, but it exists. So which are some of these laws you're talking about that you believe if people follow, maybe this condition could just be reversed, or anyone who is not suffering from the same could be preserved from getting into those conditions? Yeah, which are these laws? Try to educate us. Just point them out briefly.
Yeah, they say the most fundamental is peace of mind, which only comes by those who believe in a higher power. So there is that peace of mind that comes with somebody trusting in God. And that one helps you to have peace of mind. There is no healing unless you have peace of mind.
Yeah, it begins from the mind.
Exactly. So that is a basic law in health. And the rest can follow. Good nutrition, we have to take water. You know, the larger part of the body is water. We have to exercise, okay? And at least most of the days in a week, 30 minutes daily. We have to ensure that we create a clean environment in the house and outside the house.
Sure.
Because the environment can contribute to either good or bad health, depending on whether you are clean or not. And then other laws are, we need to be moderate in everything. So even if it's good food, you have to eat what is enough.
Yeah, temperance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that kind of ensuring that you're not excessive in anything, so that you have a balanced life, helps you to, is also part of the natural laws of health. And then
maybe sleep.
Yeah, we need good sleep, at least 7 hours in a day.
Which I know it's affecting so many
Exactly.
people here.
We need
To sunbask.
to sunbathe. Okay, very important. So those are the basic laws of health.
As simple as that.
As simple as that.
Okay, thank you. So say a final word.
Yeah, my final word is to say that all diseases come as a result of transgression of the laws of.
It's not just an accident.
It's not an accident. They have a cause. And of course, the Bible says in Proverbs 26:2 that
a curse causeless.
Curse causeless will not come. So
Yeah,
there is always the reason why you're suffering. Okay? Whether that disease is because of a spiritual or a physical reason. Yes.
Oh, this is lovely. I want Daktari to say his final ones. So just before he says, I'm thinking of something, and let me not speak it. Let Daktari say. Daktari, say something about to our listeners who are listening. Tell them something, and then I will read a quote. I've just found a quote interesting. Maybe the viewers should think about it. Karibu.
Okay, because of interest of time, I'll just say these are common proverbs. It says you cannot live your way into a disease and take yourself out of it.
Enda pole pole. Sisi ni
Yes,
Wakenya.
you cannot live your way into a disease, whether it's eating, living, wherever you are doing, you get yourself into a disease, and now you want to get yourself out of that disease.
Oh, so if you lived into it,
You have to live out of it.
you should live out.
Yes. So whatever you did wrong into a disease,
Oh.
the only way is living it out. So if you are suicide, if you are, as bacteria said, You are not at this, you are not taking any sunbeds, you are not taking adequate water. So everything is being wrong. It's time to do it right. Yes. And obviously, if we not translate our way into organ failure, as Dr. said, or change of organ function, I believe will still come back. Yeah, but we need to also have patience. If you took 10 years to get yourself into a problem, naturally you don't expect it to happen overnight. You need to get back to where you are. And chances are you might even take longer to come back. Now that we are also advanced in age, see now the healing reduces with age. So if you are younger, getting into a problem, trust me, when you're coming back and a bit older, your healing rate will be lower. So yes, patience. So even if we still try to help people reverse, you also need to be patient and also accept there is something we like to say healing crisis. Yes, while you are healing, your body will feel like now you are actually worsening. So you have to accommodate that. Yeah.
Our dear viewers, our dear listeners, we are very glad that you have really managed to be up to these very close moments. And this is just a beginning. What if I told you that you have a channel that deals with these conditions deep, and even share the contacts of the medics in charge? We go ahead to give consultations. I know you will never want to miss. And one of that great channels, YouTube channels, is Disease Reversal and Mitigation. You can see on your screen that name just below your screen. It's written Disease Reversal and Mitigation. So it's the very first time, regardless where you found this video, to just check into your phone. Disease Reversal and Mitigation. Subscribe, hit a like button, share a video with your family members, save someone. Because we discuss these specific illnesses and the very specific ways to overcome them. Allow me to leave with a quote from a book written in the 20th century by one of the very renowned naturopathic doctor as well as spiritual author. Her name is Ellen Gold Hammond White. In the book Ministry of Healing, pages 127, paragraph number 1, this is what she recounts. The only hope of better things is in the education of people in the right principles. Let the physicians teach the people that the restorative power is not in drugs, but in nature. Disease is an effort of nature to free the system from the condition that result from the violation of laws of health. In case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained and health conditions should be changed. Wrong habits corrected. Then nature is to be assisted in an effort to expel impurities and reestablish the right conditions in the system. Thank you so much. Let's meet next time.